Now, let's get back to the issue of power prices in this country. In my interview with the Prime Minister last night, I raised the now infamous promise to cut our power bills. Have a look. You promised to reduce electricity prices by $275 in the election campaign. They're now gone up by that much and expected to go up that much again. Will you take responsibility for the electricity prices that exist at the time of the next election?
News flash, Chris. There's been a war in Ukraine.
There you go. He blames it all on the war. How does this stack up? Let's bring in a man who knows the energy market inside out. Matt Rennie is Managing Director of Rennie Advisory. He joins me from Brisbane. Good to talk to you again, Matt. Now, we know that you're heavily involved in the energy industry and trying to help companies get to net zero. We know that the global price of gas has had an impact in Australia, but that's not the main reason we're facing energy shortages and high prices, is it?
Well, I think the reason why we're facing energy price increases is both the war, but it's more pointedly, it's the increasing volatility caused by coal coming out and the entire energy system transitioning.
Yep.
I think this focus on reduced prices over the next over the last month or so and the next couple of months is really all around the release of the default market offer by the government, which I think they're looking to try to say that prices are coming down.
Now, international gas prices are going down already, aren't they? Is that because people are pumping more supplies into the market, or has it got to do with the weather cycles in the Northern Hemisphere, and how will that impact in Australia?
Yeah, I think both of those things. I mean, I think we're realising globally that there really has to be something done to open up new supplies in the Northern Hemisphere. I mean, we've got our own problems down here, of course, and the government stepping in to regulate what's effectively a competitive industry is really what's on everybody's mind right now, whether it's the short-term price caps or these reference prices that they're talking about.
Well, this is the thing. In our conversation last night, Anthony Albanese runs the argument that often politicians do, saying this is a market. This is market forces at play. Now, this to me is such a furphy because the national electricity market is anything but a free market. We know that renewables have been mandated, a 23%, I think last one was a 23% renewables mandate. They've been subsidised widely, so that's the government rules interfering with the market. We know that other forms of energy, even now coal and gas, are being subsidised and there's price caps in place. I mean, this is not a free market. This is government interventions.
Well, it's never been less of a free market. If we look at electricity retail prices, for example, yes, wholesale prices are down to the lowest point since February last year. They're also down 56% over the last month, but really that's because of the gas price cap that's been put in, and that's been put in order to make this draft report that's going to come out in a few weeks. The underlying volatility is still there. The long-term upward pressure on price is still there. And the moment that the market gets a chance, we're going to see an increase in prices, of course.
Yeah, well, the test here with the Prime Minister, and he's not alone, but those who argue it's the war in Ukraine has pushed this, is, we could all hope and pray there would be peace in the Ukraine overnight. But the point is, if global gas prices go back to pre-war levels, which I understand that they're just about there now, and stay there, well, if prices then don't go back sharply, that obviously demonstrates to us that there's more at play here. As you say, it's all about the transition in this country. It's all about us getting rid of too much dispatchable energy before we had the right stuff to replace it.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, look, there's a couple of separate issues here. On the gas side, it costs a lot of money to explore, develop, produce and commission gas wells, and we need to be providing the right incentives for people to be doing that. On the transition side, we know that the coal-fired power stations aren't going to be there forever. We know that they're going to close. It's really around how we best manage that. And when you bring those two things together, there is a role for gas to play. We are going to need more gas, and unless we get this balance right in the next 10 years, we're going to really struggle.
Yeah, spot on. That seemed to be the argument most people were making 4 or 5 years ago, but suddenly they all went anti-gas for a while. We need more gas, and the great news for Australia is we got stacks of it. So we just got to allow it to be exploited and used domestically. Thanks for joining us, Matt. Appreciate it.